What's going on, everybody? This is Clay Wimberley, and this is a tutorial on how to install the spring pin for our AP 500 product, which is a replacement foot for the new Nikon 500 5.6 lens right here, which I must say is a pretty appealing lens. Okay, so before I go into the tutorial about installing the spring pin, let me just explain a few things about this foot. First of all, the factory foot that Nikon provides attaches to the lens with a little dovetail, and it's a quick release attachment. It's got a little knob and it clamps on there, and the idea is that you can easily remove the foot, so that if you're doing a lot of photojournalism or something like that where you actually want to hand hold the lens and you don't want that foot in the way, then you can use it like that. And when you do want to use it on a tripod, you just attach it to this dovetail and then you're ready to go. But personally for me, and I think for a lot of our customers who are generally nature photographers, a permanent foot is a much better solution, because you know, there's not a huge need to do hand holding, and if you do, you can just leave the foot on there, but it's not, you don't have an extra knob here to worry about getting loose and getting in the way. It makes the part a lot less complicated, and you don't have to worry about losing the foot. So I think for our customers, permanent foot is better. If you're interested in an easily removable foot, I'm sure there are other manufacturers that will come out with an Arca-swiss foot that is a quick release. It'll probably be more expensive than ours, but if that's what you want, then I'm sure somebody will provide that. But what we're doing is a permanent foot. Now, there are some issues with trying to make a permanent foot for this particular lens. Usually when we make a replacement foot, they're usually attached with 4 screws, okay? But they're tiny little screws, and we really didn't want to attach our foot with these screws, so we're going to use this 1/4 fastener in the middle. Now, the problem is just one fastener. So when you got one fastener, it's really hard to resist the plate wanting to twist and loosening up. So we knew that was going to be an issue, and furthermore, the area here on the foot is pretty small. It's a small footprint. So the friction that it creates when you tighten that foot onto the lens has very little mechanical advantage to resist it from twisting. Also, the way that you're going to keep it from twisting is to line it up with these edges, and these are also very, very small, not very long. So they also have very little mechanical advantage to keep it from twisting. So in order to do that, if you want to make something that fits on here with one fastener that really feels secure, you have to make the fit between these edges and the foot really, really precise, like almost like a press fit, almost an interference fit, to make that work. So that was kind of a challenge, and the original solution we had was to use a flathead fastener. And I don't want to go into the details, but because it has this slant to it, we offset the hole, and that was supposed to push the foot up to one side and get it all aligned and that sort of thing. But we didn't offset it enough, and it just doesn't do the job. So I'm not sure, we're still going to test whether offsetting enough will work or not, but we do have a solution, and it works very well. It's very effective, and it will make this foot be absolutely impossible to twist, and a perfect permanent foot for your lens. So let's go into how you install this pin that accomplishes that. Okay, the first thing you want to do is remove the factory foot. I've already done that. Just unscrew the knob, take it off. Done. Okay, now you're left with this, and you're gonna install your AP 500 loosely. So let me show you. Okay, so you're going to screw this down until it just stops. You're not going to tighten it, just until it stops, okay? And then you're going to switch it so that you have the long end out so you can see what you're doing. So we got it till it stops. Now we're going to loosen it 180 degrees, and then a little bit more, just like that, okay? And then take it out. Now you can see the foot is loose on here, but we need that looseness to give us some clearance to get this spring pin in. Okay, so look, now it's time for the spring pin. Now this is important. Because of our design, this little cutout in our foot that mates with the dovetail, it's offset to one side. That's so that when in our original design where we wanted it to scoot over and push against one side, the reason it's offset is so that it can do that without having the foot being shifted off to the side. So that's why it's important to know what side you put this pin on. And the proper side is, if you're looking at it this way, the left-hand side. The side right underneath the 5 here, okay? So what we're gonna do, now that we have our plate at the proper looseness, we're gonna push it down here, and if you want, you can also push it off to the side like that, down and over. So I'm gonna push it down and over, okay? And stick it right in the dovetail there. Then you're gonna let go and then push it in, okay? Now you can see it's not proud, but it's visible. So we've included this handy dandy technical tool here called a toothpick. And what you want to do is press that pin in just far, like really however far you want, so that you can't see it, but it can't be further than 1/8 of an inch. So what you probably want to do is line it up with right at the end of this, where this slant here ends. If you can push it in that far, that's about perfect. If you push it in too far, okay, that's pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Anyway, that's good there. If you push it in too far, it'll still work. It just goes a little bit further into the foot and makes a little mark on the foot. It's not a big deal. So if you want to, you can just push it in as far as you can. Okay, so now the pin is in place. And what we're going to do is we're going to tighten. We're going to fully tighten this foot on now. And when you do that, you're going to feel some resistance at first. It's sort of a mushy resistance. And that is because the spring pin is collapsing so that everything fits snugly in there. So you're going to feel a resistance, and then you're going to feel it stop, and then you just tighten it down as you normally would, get a good snug tightness. And that is on there so good, I can't even believe it. So I know this is a little pain to put this spring pin in, but what you end up with is a great attachment. You know, perfectly fit. It can't jiggle loose. It's not going to loosen up the screw by having the foot have some play in it. And it's a permanent foot. Looks good. And it will balance your lens nicely. So that's the end of the tutorial. I hope you found this helpful. And congratulations on your new Nikon lens. This thing's sweet. All right. Clay Wimberley out. Best of luck in the field to you guys.